Hello, and welcome to Meet the Rebuttal. This is Crimson Rose, and
Oh, I'm Zero. I'm Zero. It's been so long.
so this episode brought to you by Minus the Rumors. Oh, no sponsors, but you could
Yes,
be a sponsor one day. Send us an email. All
funded
right,
funded right out of our own pockets.
so funded right out of our own pockets. Hey, I paid for that airtime.
Self dealing. It's what we do.
Yes, exactly. So we're back from an extended hiatus.
Yes, yes. Yeah. Jeez.
All right, so this is Meet the Rebuttal, where we talk about two to three or four different gaming tech or entertainment news that we find interesting that we can talk about for a little bit more in depth than our other show. So, starting this off, we have the Super Mario Run stuff. So,
Yeah. Yes. Super Mario Run, very popular game for iPhone. Android users like me have to wait until early 2017 to be able to play it. Crimson, I think, was just playing it a little bit ago and then said something,
yes.
muttered
So,
something under his breath about money. It's got love and hate both. Now that it is a actual Nintendo game, we talked about it during our actual our actual Minus the Rumors news show during the iPhone 7 release, wasn't
right.
it?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
So you've played the game, Crimson. You want to tell people what it is?
So, all it is a runner style game with Mario esque levels. So the levels are identical to Mario levels, but there are things unique to it, to where you can jump, run, kind of you can like wall jump upwards, and there's a lot of movements that are Mario esque that you haven't seen in a runner before. It's a lot of fun, and it looks pretty, but you play through 3 levels and you hit a quite a pricey paywall.
That is the problem that people are complaining about right there, too. What is it, $10?
So yes, it is $10. I can.
That is expensive for a mobile game. I mean, people normally spend more than $10 in microtransactions on some games, but $10 after 3 levels is
So to purchase all 6 worlds, it's $9.99 plus purchase bonuses of 20 rally tickets, 3,000 coins, and 1 mystery block. But I mean,
a mystery.
theoretically it's a one-time purchase for like the entire rest of the game, and plus I would hope that would include all future levels that they'd add in the future. However, $10 is quite steep.
Right, and you've played 3 levels of the first world, so
Yes.
so you're not sure if you're going to pay the $10 and buy the rest of the
No,
game.
I'm totally not going to. It's why would I?
Well,
Plus, there's only 6 worlds at the moment.
right. And so what cost would it take to get you to buy the rest of the
I,
game, or would you be willing to buy, let's say, 2 worlds for $3?
my thing is, I'm cheap and I don't have to pay money on this ever. But what do I think is reasonable? I think 3 to 5 is reasonable. I mentioned this earlier, where I think it would be genius to say, all right, it's say $5, which is still a little bit still cheap. I mean, still steep for But if say, all right, but if you own the Pokemon Go on your iOS account, we'll make it $2. Which I mean, Pokemon Go is free,
Right,
so
right.
which I think that would be, or Pokemon Go and their other whatnot. But I think that would be a great idea. Or say, or add like a 10% on top of that if you connect your Nintendo account. And all that is you're promoting other stuff you have, which is a great idea for making it a heck of a lot cheaper, which I think they should do. But either way, $10 is too high to begin with. So I think 5 at the highest, but have like very, very simple ways to get it down like 2, because I think 2 and 3 is reasonable for
Right.
Nintendo, because Nintendo's high quality.
Right. I mean, I just a lot of people are having issues with this paywall of which you speak. I don't have an iPhone device. In fact, I've got Super Plumber Run on my phone. It's great. It's free. It's a copycat game. That's the other issue that Nintendo themselves is having with the Android market right now is copycat games. Nintendo's, I'm not going to say they're sue happy, but they're very, very, very focused on protecting their IP.
Overly
And
so.
overly so, exactly. Like, don't even use the name Mario. Don't put Mario in a game. Why? Because we have a Mario game. But the Android market, Google Play Store, is flooded with these Mario copycat runners, such as Super Plumber Run. What was the title of the other one? It was Mario something or other, but that one's been pulled. It's
Yeah.
been pulled. And they're coming off the market just as fast, but, you know, with shady copies also come security risks. Wouldn't be the first time that apps and things have possibly stolen the information out of your phone. But a $10 paywall, I can tell you there's a lot of Angry Birds players that wouldn't have gotten half as far in the game if they did. If if Rovio had decided to say, okay, you beat these first 5 levels, having fun knocking down houses, that'll be $10.
Right.
I think, you either charge up front, don't tease somebody. Either that or you have slightly lower paywall or you have progressive pay scaling where you get maybe 2 worlds, 3 worlds, but it's cheaper. That
Well, Angry Birds didn't do that. I mean, they made it where you had to pay a certain amount of either get so many stars or get so far in the game, or you could pay money. And that's the thing. It should be like an either or thing. Like, hey, I can go ahead and get all the worlds with money, or I can play ridiculous amounts of time in the game and gradually through like getting coins to unlock future levels. Like that would make sense. Because I'm not kidding when I say this, when I originally I got the app the moment, and I mean literally moments after it dropped in the store, I got a notification that I subscribed for. I played through it immediately, and it said only 1,000 coins to progress to future levels. I didn't have 1,000 coins, but then like a few days later, guess what? $10. So
yeah. By the way, that's $10. So can you buy coins for money? I do. Once again, I do. I apologize for my ignorance. This is a Samsung. I do not have an Apple phone.
I don't know offhand. It's a one-time purchase, so other than that, I mean, you don't really need coins. But it's not like Pokemon Go where you constantly can get more items. Like, yeah, it's whatever.
Right.
But
Ziploc Bob has pointed it out though in our chat. Welcome, Bob. By the way, stockholders don't like the paywall, and there's no microtransactions. That's probably the other reason stockholders are not happy with it, because it's a one-time purchase. So once people buy it, sure, you have made your money, but there's no incentive to expand on the game.
Right.
Once it's paid for.
And it's the thing, I don't see, because I've played a little bit of the game, I don't see where you could add microtransactions. That's the thing about Pokemon Go was really good. You never had to spend a penny, but there were all kinds of microtransactions that really added to the game, because I even spent money on microtransactions because it made the game better, but I never had to. With this, it's like, okay, I have to, and it's a one-time payment, so you can only make X amount of money on it. Pokemon Go made it ridiculous, but I think it's a flawed idea regardless, any way you look at it, how they're doing this. But the game's fun, and I don't want to just completely crap on it. The game is tons of fun, and the game is beautiful. Like, it's a really well-made game.
Right. Right. Like I said, I've never played it. I look forward to
playing
eventually
the first
seeing,
3 levels over and over and over again.
I'll see if I can't borrow somebody's iPhone for 45 minutes or so. Is that what you're saying it takes to get it to start up? That data download on it was kind of intimidating when you first fired it up.
It takes forever to download. It uses a lot of internet connectivity, data. It uses a lot of data to even play it. And then it forces you through tutorials, which, I mean, all Nintendo games do it, so I'm used to it by now, but...
Right. Well, I'm not one that minds tutorials because I've been that guy that's like, psh, I'm a video gamer. I don't need any tutorial. How do I walk in this game after I skip the tutorial? It's like, how do I do this? Well, but that is another point that people are not happy about with this game is it uses a lot of data.
Now, originally the Pokemon Go game used a crap ton of data, but uses a heck of a lot less now. Still a lot, but less. So I think that's something they'll iron out over time.
Right. But also, like the Pokemon Go game, it requires a data connection on your phone. So even after you pay your $10, you have paid $10. You have bought the game. Why are you required to have an internet connection at that point?
And
Fallout Shelter never required it. Then again, that was free to play, but microtransaction based.
I think part of Nintendo's thing is they always want you to interact with other people. And even with this, you can interact with people's scores, how much they get, and there's a Toad Rally, which is kind of cool. So there's a lot of multiplayer-esque things, but I think that's what they keep pushing you towards, even if you may not want to at all times.
Right. Data. Anywhere between 50 and 90 megs an hour.
Yeah. So, but, I think Nintendo may change something up or whatnot. They're pretty good at, not ignoring people, especially when their stocks are hurting.
I would, I'm not opposed to Nintendo making mobile games. I would like to see...
Oh, of course.
Especially if it's going to require data. Nintendo, please, if you're out there, our Nintendo overlords, if you're out there, please.
Well,
Mario Kart. Mario Kart Mobile.
You got to think, they're somewhat new to this, so they're testing different things. Pokemon Go is microtransaction, and this is one paywall, which I think is going to be obvious. Hey, microtransactions are the way to go. As long as it's not pay to win, I have no problems with microtransactions if they're not pay to win.
Right. Most people have problems with microtransactions on a pay to win thing because that's rapidly how people stop playing your game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would rather, instead of a $10 paywall that's kind of unexpected, I would rather see microtransaction basing. I don't know, when a cost is hidden, it scares me.
And again, I don't think it should be $10. If it was a lot less, and then you got a discount for having Pokemon Go or whatnot, that would be great. And having like your Nintendo account connected, like that would just make so much sense. That hey, it's $5. Now it's $3 because you have Pokemon Go. Now it's $2 because you have your Nintendo account connected. Like that makes perfect sense.
Right.
And you'd still rack up a ridiculous amount of money. Right.
You'd probably have a bigger support base, too. Like, let's face it, there's a lot of kids whose parents are not going to buy them a $10 game. There's a lot of adults that are going to go, $10? That's like 2 days.
Like Taco Bell. That's a week of Taco Bell.
That's a week of Taco Bell. That's, like 1.5 fast food breaks or fast food lunches, at work or something like that. That's $10. To a lot of people on this planet, that's at least an hour of work, if not more, more than an hour of work on top of a phone bill where they probably have a capped data plan.
Yeah.
That
is like 3 games on the Steam sale.
Exactly. That's 3 Steam sale games at least. Unless you're, like me and you're like, what's under $1 right now? And in which case, that's, 10 Steam sale games.
All right. So Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
Insert sponsorship for this video. Minus the rumors loves you. Okay. So
Yes.
you want to be a sponsor? Email us. All right. Nintendo
Yes.
Switch though has some issues and whatnot. It's not. It's people are overhyping it. Is kind of the thing.
That's how it goes with every console, though.
Of
Except the
course.
Switch is not a console as much as it's
Hybrid.
a hybrid. Yeah, exactly. A phablet. But yes, guess what, guys? Surprising news just came out. The Nintendo Switch is not more powerful than the PlayStation 4. It's a tablet. Sorry. Had to get that one out of my system.
I don't know who thought it was be. I was hoping it'd be close, but I never expected it to be as powerful or even more powerful. Because in all honesty, just look at the size of it. It's small.
It's thin. It's a tablet.
It's a tablet.
Exactly. Guess what? My iPad is not as powerful as my 3D rendering computer.
Right. And for a lot of people, they couldn't understand, like, why, when you have it in tablet mode, is it so, I think, 40% less powerful? It's like, because it's not docked up to the power, like, the thing that does a lot of the work.
Exactly. It
But
doesn't need to upscale. I mean, what are you going to upscale to on a 10-inch display? Video-wise, graphic-wise. I mean...
But, I mean, when it is docked, it's fine.
Yeah, 730 megahertz or something like that. That's
768 megahertz when it's docked, and then it's 300. I had it right here, and something updated
right.
on the page.
These are GPU speeds, by the way. This is not processor speed.
Yeah, 307 when it's portable, which is fine for both. Like, you don't need either one.
Right. What was it we were talking about in the pre-show, where it's like, here's our gaming console, and then here's the next gaming console. You know, I think what happened was people were hoping that the Nintendo Switch is going to come out, and here's PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and it's going to bring. But that's not how it works.
Everyone wants their new console to be the best thing ever, and quite literally, every time a new console comes out, it's like, all right, ours is slightly better. Okay,
Yeah.
no, ours is slightly better. Now ours is slightly better, and they all just, no one just anymore just says, guess what? Ours is groundbreaking, so much further than y'all's. Because if you're a Sony fan, guess what? You're just going to stick with Sony. If you're an Xbox fan, you're just going to stick with Xbox. Because even if the PlayStation becomes better, guess what? It's like by a minute amount when it comes to gaming.
Right.
Now, Nintendo's the only person that can get away with it because they do things uniquely. So they don't need to compete when it comes to clock speed, per se, as long as it looks appealing.
Exactly. And, you know, Nintendo and polygons go together like Doritos and Mountain Dew. Nintendo's graphics are beautiful for the most part, for what they run, for anything that they run on. But yes, comparing the Switch to, let's call an Xbox or a PlayStation console, a current gen, that was a mistake from day one. Because it's a tablet. It's a dockable tablet. I mean, if we were going to compare it to anything, we would have to compare it to the NVIDIA Shield, which it basically is. It's a newer version of the NVIDIA Shield, which, you know, for having what is it, Maxwell-based architecture for the GPU at 307 megahertz while undocked, and even having more than 10 minutes of battery life. That's pretty impressive.
Right. No, in every way, the Nintendo Switch is absolutely impressive. It's unique. It's beautiful. It works well. I personally will buy a Nintendo NX or Switch. Code names are always better than the real names.
Right.
I will buy one, and I will only play with it docked. Because when I buy a console, I want to play on the TV.
Right. Right.
That's I want to play on the TV. So
I mean, it's not like you're going to play it while you're driving anyway.
no, so I mean, now I could take it on a plane theoretically, but
In theory.
in
Like,
theory,
I probably won't own one. I'm still hoping to buy a 3DS, but the Switch's price point is, even though it hasn't been officially Nintendo'd. Oh, sorry, phone. Sorry, guys. Phone. Shh.
so the Nintendo Switch hasn't officially dropped its official price point, but from what everything we can see, it's going to be $300 plus or a $400 bundle, which would probably include several games like they always do.
Right.
So if those are correct, that's not bad. Because the semi new 3DS XL is running about $300. You can get it cheaper, but
Right. And I mean, $300, even $400 for a tablet with a dock, that's not a bad deal. That's not. I mean, what's the cost of an iPad? Current iPad, which is going to have far less, power, graphics wise. It's not going to be able to play an actual game that's, not optimized for mobile. What does it cost? Give me a second here. I'm going to look up the cost of an iPad. The
so
brand new iPad.
my thing is
$380 for an iPad.
okay. So I will buy the Switch, but the thing is, I don't know if I'm going to buy it right out the gate because my thing with buying it is I want to play Zelda Breath of the Wild first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like it's going to be pushed back just past launch, maybe a month late. And my thing is, I'm not going to just buy it and wait around, so.
Right. Well, what if they have a Pokemon release for it with the Switch?
If it releases on release, maybe, if I have money just sitting around.
Because, if you've got Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon,
Mm-hmm.
and you have a new console, there's a chance that you might have a Pokemon Stars. That's just me speculating.
I'm thinking Pokemon Eclipse.
Pokemon Eclipse. See, I mean, we're going spacey theme here, but you're on point.
It's Sun, Moon, Eclipse.
Exactly. And
Because
what a better way to release it?
Yeah, they always do a third. That's what I am also thinking. They may do the third one on the console, but either way, they always do 3, and it's always like Red. No, that's a bad one. Ruby and Sapphire. What's going to be the third one? Emerald. X, Y, Z. It was like they're not hard to figure out what the third one's ever going to be.
To be fair, Bob says we got X and Y and no Z.
I'm still waiting on Z.
You know what? That's a good possibility too. That there will be a.
That's also they could throw it back to Z.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing, guys. The Switch is coming. The Switch is coming. This is nothing new. The Wii U had its time. It's lived its prime. Didn't have the reception that people were hoping for then. Hopefully the Switch does, though. I was a big fan of the NVIDIA Shield tablet. The Switch is kind of like that, except it's got actual controllers. I mean, beautiful. Removable controllers, even. It's got power. It's got power.
Yes.
It's going to be gorgeous.
By the way, Pokemon Z was canceled due to Pokemon Sun and Moon. Which,
See?
Why would you ever cancel it? You just make it later. Don't ever just cancel something. Just put it on the back burner.
Right. Pokemon cancel. We've canceled this. No. Well, maybe Pokemon Go is secretly Pokemon Z. It's not.
No, Pokemon Go actually happens before the first gen. Like, it's crazy because, all right, I'm going into. If you have you ever seen Game Theory on YouTube, it's they do all kinds of crazy theories, and they actually have a theory for Pokemon Go, and it matches up really, really, really well. But basically, it's Pokemon Go, then the Pokemon War, the Great War, and then it's the first gen.
I think Pokemon Go happens before all of it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Pokemon Go, and then it's the Great War, and then it's first gen, second gen, third gen.
But so, just to recap what we've covered tonight, Super Mario Run has copies on the Android market, as well as a hidden paywall. Well, not so hidden anymore, and data usage, but the game is good. Whether or not it's good for $10 is up to you after you play the first couple of worlds. What was it? 3 worlds, Crimson? 3 levels? 3 levels, not worlds.
3 levels.
3 levels. So, play your 3 levels. If you like it, buy it. If not, don't. I don't think if you don't buy it, you won't be the only one. And the Nintendo Switch is coming. People think it sounds underpowered, but when you actually look at what it is and what it's been compared to, you realize that it's not underpowered. People were just not comparing it to what it actually is. That's like saying my blender doesn't get as hot as my toaster. My blender is a terrible pizza oven.
Yeah, well, I mean, as long as it plays the games, fine. Like, that's the thing. If it runs all the games fine, then fine. Nintendo always has their games run fine. Now, now Xbox games can come out, and it just doesn't work for the system.
Exactly.
And you're just like, oh, the system needs to be made better. It's like, or you could just make the game right.
Exactly.
On what you're working on. So
we didn't even bring up the whole it's cartridge based thing.
Oh yes,
it's cartridge based. Guess what? No more load times. Your graphics are integrated. Everything is preloaded. You don't need super power for it. It's cartridge based.
Right, and that definitely helps a lot. I was hoping it'd be an actual console, and it would go back to like cartridges this big.
Yes,
but oh well. But still, I mean, it's worked so well with the 3DS that I guess that's why they're integrating it back. But I'm hoping that they don't forever go in this direction. I'm like, all right, this is fun, but can we get like a hybrid that's a little bit more like a console? A 3/4 console, 1/4
1/4 removable.
handheld.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was the closest thing to that would be what? Like the Dreamcast. The Dreamcast, because it had that itty bitty little screen in the controller.
Yes.
Yeah. That was good. I miss Dreamcast.
So talking about patents.
Patents. Oh. Yeah, let's go there. Because, cartridge based.
Yeah. So in the past, Nintendo's released a lot of, or people have found a lot of Nintendo's patents, and they've all come out to be just about right. Even the screen on the controller, guess what? I mean, when it's in tablet form, it's basically a screen on the controller. So one of the new patents is quite interesting. Yes,
a new trademarked Nintendo patent is suggesting, guys, because it's got 4 buttons, 2 bumpers. Or no, hang on. Let me reread the patent. Actually, the trademark. It's got 4 buttons, a start, a select button, and a directional pad. And the shape on it kind of reminds you of the Super Famicom controller, or sounds distinctly like the Super Famicom controller, also known as the Super Nintendo, which, speculation-wise, sounds perfect, seeing as how Nintendo released the NES Classic, and they're out of stock for, what were you saying, Crimson, 2 years now?
Right. something like that. But yeah, so it looks like we may be getting this.
Right.
You know, and the one that just came out, the NES Classic or whatnot. I mean, it's constantly out of stock. I mean, you can get it, but I feel like it's just, they never make enough, and it's fine. But this looks like it could be the next thing they may come out, which would make sense if they kind of do that with the original consoles.
Right. Well, the NES Classic had what, 30 preloaded games on it?
Yeah,
What?
and you see how well it has done. Why not do another one?
Right. Like, you can find them on eBay right now for, oh my goodness, so much money.
Yeah.
But what 30 games do you think would be loaded? I mean, obviously, you've got to have, for Super Nintendo, you've got to have Super Mario World on there, as well as Super Mario 3. You got to keep all the fandoms happy.
All right. So for Super Nintendo, you have to have basically all the Mario games, all the main. So Super Mario World and that you'd have to have the Zelda games, Donkey Kong Country is on that. Earthbound, Final Fantasy VI, Super Metroid,
Donkey Kong
basically
3D, yeah.
your Super Mortal Kombat 2, maybe your super mainstream games.
You've got to have Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat. Yeah, you could have Mortal Kombat on there, I guess.
Legend Zelda, Link's Awakening,
Star Fox.
yeah, Pac-Man. So yeah, your super mainstream games, basically.
Yeah, you have to have the major fandoms. Super Metroid, yes. Contra 3 Alien Wars, says Bob, yes. Dude, I would love to play The Legend of Zelda again on Super, if it comes. That's the thing, like, if you can hammer out each one of your fandom's flagship games on that, that's easily like the next top sale console right there. Like,
Right.
who needs a Scorpio after that? You got an NES Classic, Super NES Classic.
So I mean, and I'm tempted to. I kind of want to buy the NES, both classics, like the one that's out now and possibly the next one. I would think they could do this with all the consoles, which there's not many of them, up to 64. Like, I don't think you would do it with 64 though. You could, but it's not super old.
Right. Oh, hey, Newegg has got the Mini Collector's NES Classic right now for $2.99.
I'm not paying that much. I can literally go to an old school game store and buy one for a lot less.
With 30 games for $150. Rakuten's
right.
got them for $270. Yeah, that's nuts though, what they're going for. I'm just, if a classic NES with 30 games can go for $300. Then again, just because it's listing for it doesn't mean it's selling for it. A classic Super Nintendo with 30 games, that's an easy $450 console. And I mean, that is the stuff that 90% of us grew up on right now. Like, it wasn't my first console, but it's the one I can remember the most.
So the NES, which is what they got now, and then the Super NES, which would make sense to do next. After that came the Nintendo 64, and I'm not sure you make a classic version of the 64.
I don't think you could.
It came out in 96. It's old, but it's still awesome.
Right.
It's still one of Nintendo's like best consoles ever made. I mean, granted, they only really have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 coming out with 7 major consoles.
Right.
So, not counting any of the handheld stuff.
Right, and it's not like you can relaunch the Game Boy.
No, I mean you have the 3DS. You have a linear version of that system.
Exactly, but these old school wired cartridge based consoles. I mean, that's something that is. I think that's Nintendo's new niche right there. That is their new niche market because let's face it, Sony's not going to relaunch the PS1 because why? Why would they need to? All they have to do is make their games backwards compatible.
See, Xbox is going backwards compatible, and PlayStation, they're also doing that thing where basically you pay a monthly subscription and you can play
Oh,
all the old games.
yeah, for the PSN Classic, PlayStation
which
Network.
looks amazing, really. How it's set up it seems really good, and Nintendo looks like they're just going to kind of re-release old consoles. So PlayStation now. So each one's doing it kind of different, and I kind of like having the physical thing.
Right. Like, I think I would honestly. I'm not gonna lie. I played a classic, not a classic NES, not the one that we were just talking about. That's $300. I played an original 1982 or whatever year it was. No, it wasn't 82. What year did the original Nintendo come out? Not the Famicom, but the original Nintendo.
The NES?
Yeah, the NES. Was that 89?
85.
85? Okay, so 1 year after I was born. I remember playing my first one at 4 years old.
NES came out in 85. Super Nintendo came out in 96. Or no. 90. Sorry, 90.
At Extra Life Day last month, at Extra Life Games Day last month, I played on a classic Nintendo.
They're so much fun.
They are, but I never remembered the controllers hurting my hands that
Oh
much.
man, they hurt
thumb
so
cramps.
much.
The thumb cramps were real. And it was sharp.
You got to think that's like the first. That's the first, basically controller.
Right. Like it was painful. And I'm like, how can this game be this difficult? And then I got to thinking on it, and I'm like, the controller is not. It's not ergonomic.
Yeah, that's one thing I like about the NES was not only the it was the first controller, but the games were hard. Mm-hmm. The games were legit hard.
Right, and it's all just it's cartridge, so it's preloaded. There's no thinking about it. The game doesn't adapt. It's pattern. It's all pattern based, but man, it's so hard.
Now, I'll tell you something. We've gotten off on some crazy tangent, and we're just going to go with it. But I really wouldn't mind them re-releasing Game & Watch. Like, that came before. That's before the handhelds. The re-release Game & Watch, because that's old. I think that predates the Game Boy. I could be wrong. It doesn't give a date.
Bob just linked a picture of the NES Advantage pad. I used to have the NES gamepad. I'm all about that Power Glove, though, which you can also buy on Newegg for $146.71. What?
I have a couple NESs somewhere there with my mom. I haven't spoken to her in like 8 years, but I have a 64 though. It's somewhere. I bought it and haven't ever played it because I let a friend borrow all my consoles, and I have yet to get them back.
Oh no!
And I moved, and we're just having issues catching up. He hasn't taken them where I take them a quarter or something, but
okay. We're on this old console kick. The 3DO didn't 3DO get bought out by one or the others?
You'd have to look it up. I don't know.
I'm looking it up. 3DO Interactive. I'm wondering if they got bought out because they were a big competitor of Sega and Nintendo. Discontinued in '96. Please tell me they got bought out by Nintendo because a 3DO relaunch would be cool too, but it's never going to happen.
No. Philips CDI, don't get your hopes up. You know what's funny? talking about VR and whatnot. Nintendo did it first. They had the Virtual Boy.
Yeah, they did. I remember that thing. Make your nose bleed, make you have chronic migraines, all that shades of red. Oh, disorienting. The Philips CDI relaunch. No, we're good on that, Bob. The Virtual Boy. Bring that back. Psh, augmented what? Augmented mental health.
But yeah, I'd like to see, definitely. They got the NES. I'd like to see the Super Nintendo, which looks like we may get probably, I'd say maybe next holiday season, maybe.
Next holiday season, if we're speculating that they're going to release it, which we are, I'm going to say be looking for it Q2.
Okay.
I'm saying they're going to announce it first quarter, though. I'm saying by March, they're going to say, psh, guess what's coming? It'll hit the sales floor by June, and it'll still be sold out by holiday season next year.
Yeah. That it would be. Now, if they literally ever decided to do a classic version of the 64, they would make so much money. Because all of Nintendo's best games were on the 64.
They were, oh my goodness, Banjo-Kazooie.
So, GoldenEye is a big one. The Legend of Zelda series, because there were 2 huge hits on that. I mean, still the greatest game ever made was on that console. Still reigns number 1. Up there with Skyrim. Skyrim's up there with best games ever made. Super Smash Brothers.
Yes.
So, basically all your cartridge-based consoles.
Pokemon Snap.
Snap was a lot of fun. I played the heck out of it.
That's kind of what the Pokemon Go, you can take a picture of your Pokemon.
I want them to... Now, this is the one thing I don't like about Nintendo, is all the time, they're basically moving their games to newer consoles. So you can play the original first generation Pokemon on the 3DS XL because it's in the eShop. You just buy it, download it, and play it. And they've been doing that with like all their games. But I'm like, but just remake the game. Just remake it. Like yes, you could, for no money, just, move it to the newer consoles and then people buy it there. But why can't you just remake the game? Because a few times now, they've done things similar with Ocarina of Time, but they have yet to just truly just strip it down and just remake it. They've always, now we added a few extra things. We made it look a little bit better. Just remake it. Like, same exact storyline and everything, and just make it look new gen.
Bob just hit it right on the head. It is cheaper to remaster than to remake.
Yeah, but true. But if you make sales, that's what Nintendo has over other people. It's like, if you remake Ocarina of Time, so many people will buy it. Even if it's at let's say $45. Not quite AAA price of $60, but not cheap, $45. Right. You would sell the absolute hell out of it.
Right.
And if it's a true remake, not a remaster, but a remake, you would sell the crap ton out of it. You can't do that with every game, though. You can only do that with a lot of your Zelda games. You could do it with because they've got a backing and they work well. You can't do it with like the Melee games, Super Smash Brothers, because you have Super Smash Brothers U. It's the same exact game, just remade. Right. There's no variance between the games, really.
See, Nintendo has this ability to tug at people's nostalgia factor, though, too.
Exactly.
Like, if they could, they could spend the money to remake because it's going to be new to the new people, and it's going to feel like new. Even remasters do not feel new. We've covered this before too. When I had my big BioShock blow up. I had a big BioShock blow up because the updated graphics. Remasters do not feel new. They don't. I have no memory of this place.
And they're slightly better graphics, but it's still like wonky. Where Okay, you can remaster the old games, and people that are us nostalgia like, okay, I'll buy that. Newer people are like, that looks like crap because it is crap compared to today's standards. Even if you
Exactly.
remaster it, I will
Exactly.
buy it. Everyone that's in their 20s and 30s will buy it. But if you remake the game, everyone in their 20s, 30s, and in their teens will buy it. And I understand the profit margin for remastering it is ridiculous. But that's why you remaster it, and then a year later you remake it because
Exactly.
you just got all that sweet, sweet remaster money that you just turn around and put right back into the remake. You
Right.
just got double your profit.
Right. And that's where Activision's been messing up. COD 4 remaster. Give us Infinite Warfare. I remember that big fight. I remember that fight. It was just last year. I'm sure Crimson remembers that fight too. We're gonna remake.
Uh,
We're gonna remaster this. No, stop remastering. Give us new game. Then again, their new
hey,
game.
no, and I don't mind remastering sometimes, but
I don't.
sometimes
There's.
I mean it's nice compared to nothing, I guess.
I think. Yeah, if they didn't initially hit the goal for sales on a game, or if a game has a cult following, sure, a remaster is in store for it. Re-release something that was ahead of its time, remaster it, and then re-release it.
And that's the thing. You remaster Super Mario, no Mario RPG didn't have a huge following, but it's got people following. You remaster Castlevania, old games that have kind of a cult following that people will buy it, and you just remastered, so you didn't really spend much doing much, so people will buy it. But you're like super mainstream games like the original Zelda, you remake it.
Remake. Exactly. Exactly. You remaster the ones that have a following that you know will sell. You remake the ones that have a true fan base.
You remake it full of microtransactions.
Exactly. I'm waiting for a VR. I'm waiting for a Nintendo VR something or other.
Something or another. I don't know what Nintendo. I know that they've said they're looking into VR because why wouldn't they? But obviously you can't do VR on the Switch.
You can't.
So do you do something like the Dreamcast, or is it the Dream?
Was it the
No, the Virtual Boy. The Virtual
Virtual
Boy.
Boy? Yeah.
You do something that's a Virtual Boy. Basically, it's a console-esque thing that's just for VR. The Oculus and all that, you still need to use in conjunction with a renewed Virtual Boy.
It's
You
its own
could
thing.
do some. It's its own thing where you don't need the console, and I think Nintendo could do it. Have that with the Power Glove.
Grab a Power Glove, Virtual Boy. There's Nintendo VR. You know what? That or first person virtual Mega Man. Boom.
And really, you could do a lot with basically. You'd have to overhaul it, but you could do a Virtual Boy made in today's standards.
You could, and even with the processing power of the Switch, I mean, 780 or 768 megahertz. That's more than enough. It's more than enough for two screens. Maybe not at 1080p 60 or something like that. It's more than enough though.
Could you, in theory, somehow connect the? This is crazy. Go with me. So the Switch is a tablet with a docking station. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, they're two halves. Okay.
Okay.
Now think about the somehow being able to connect the tablet portion to a headset of some way.
Like the sand.
And
yes.
so, and not directly in front of you, but say in some way have it connect in maybe in the back where it's not pulling down on your face is a lot. It hurts
Yes.
your neck. Pulling back doesn't hurt you as much. So somehow have it connect where the headset is a docking station of some sort, and where it fits snugly, and that way you basically have a Virtual Boy. You just take your Nintendo Switch, dock it into your headset in some way, and there's your VR plus the Power Gloves, of course, obviously.
Right. That would work. That would work. Like When you said find a way to put it on your head, I was thinking like the Samsung Gear VR that takes your smartphone and just snaps into the headset.
Right.
But yeah, it's got a docking station, so you've already got your things. You just make a helmet type thing, but not a helmet.
Yeah, you could.
And you just
You
dock it
could,
in the back.
and you could get. Yeah, you could either dock it in the back, or you could do a helmet of sorts that goes over your eyes, over the top of your head, and over the back. So it's like and it just kind of docks on top, and where it's still like super lightweight, ergonomic, and it doesn't cover up like the entire sides of your head, so you don't feel trapped. Because that's a big thing. You don't want to feel trapped. Where the entire sides of your face and ears are completely open, but where it just kind of sits on top and it docks or like flat, like completely flat against your head. That would be Nintendo's solution. Nintendo, hire me.
Hire
Crimson.
me. Nintendo, hire Crimson. Hire
I mean,
me too.
That's exactly all they need. That's literally all Nintendo needs to do.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we've come to the end.
I think so too. You know what? It's been a good show.
Yes.
It's good to be back. It's good to be back. I just dropped my cap for my bottle. Hang on just a second. Okay, no more pouring drinks during podcasts. Got it. New rule. I will follow my own rule. Time off sometimes is good. You guys, we're making changes. We're making changes around Minus the Rumors.
So with that, there are a lot of changes, a lot of things we have new coming up. Also, we're gonna have a podcast Thursday. So podcast Tuesdays and Thursdays, like we've done in the past. Minus the Rumors, Minus the Rebuttal. Be slightly, some tweaks, obviously. A lot more YouTube content, especially in the next 2 weeks, because start of the new year, we got a lot of top 10 lists and whatnot to do. And along with that, some huge announcements that we're going to keep off this podcast, but we'll have soon.
Right, we will have them soon. Be sure to follow our Twitter. It's down below on the screen here. It says at Minus the Rumors. That is our Twitter. Be sure to follow us for announcements, as well as look us up on YouTube. That should be in the description below the channel. Or check minustherumors.com. And I've had fun. See you guys in 2 nights.
Yep. All right. Bye.
Bye.